Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where for the first time in far too long, I'm able to introduce the Terran player in the blue, the chess master. It's TY. And in an old school matchup on an all-new patch, we have the Lord of the Links. It's Dong Rei Gu, DRG. It's a best of 3 TVZ, and no, it's not 2014. It's been 10 years since 2024. Wake up, like, subscribe, and Jimmy, what are we at? 1,300 likes on this series, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And by this point, I think it's pretty clear I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully over the last very approximately 300 videos, about 300 videos, very roughly, I said, what if we did a little gimmick where every time, starting at 1,000, we just added one more like on, and number go up. Well, the last 300 videos or so over the last, well, almost a year have been possibly my most successful. Probably my most successful on average. So hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully they've made your day a little bit better. So thank you for making mine the same. And I'm so excited for TY to be back. Yes, TY, okay. Yes, he's going Mass Reaper, but first we gotta talk about something else. Brood War. Yes, the game older than at least a few of you. TY has also qualified for ASL, the Africa TV Star League, for Brood War. So if you want more TY, you can tune in to, I believe Tastosis is casting that as well on YouTube. Maybe we'll look at the replays at some point. But TY, the chess master, known the only player to essentially outsmart Maru in the past, is currently playing in both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, which, when I say these, this match could have been out of 2014, TY, oh yeah, fun fact, he also casts for GSL. I'm not sure about ASL. So, yes, before we even get into this game, we got to talk about how TY is essentially a StarCraft genius. So TY not only casts professionally, he plays Brood War and StarCraft 2, where I'm just sitting here watching. So, a 3-per build to start things. We already got to talk about the build, as I see 2 factories and 3 CCs, a Roach Warren on the way. How much did the Reapers get done? Only lost 1, but 2 drones, delayed the 3rd a bit. It looks like medium damage. And an armory on the way. And, okay, I can go back for a moment. There were multiple times, or one key time, when TY actually didn't show up for work. A bit of a lazy caster. Because the finals for GSL were coming up. And he was supposed to cast. Unfortunately, he couldn't, because he was too busy facing Maru in those same finals. I wonder if they paid him. I hope it was a salaried position, because that's just great macro right there. I believe he did end up losing like 4-3 to Maru, but TY versus Maru, some of the best TVT finals. Mirror matchup doesn't matter. When TY is playing, it's another matchup altogether. And here we go. He's going Blue Flame Hellions in current year, and not as like a rush, but instead just a follow-up. A bit of a bio-curious build to start things off. He's got multiple factories. It's not going to be Marines. He's just showing enough. DRG has some Sloaches here that came across to try to box out, but TY has enough Marines to drive them back. Oh, wait, Hellions run by. There's no Zergling speed. The Roaches are completely out of position. The Hellions slip by the back. 7 drones down. Marines are just walking across at the front. And multiple Evo chamber blocks in the main, but actually lock some drones in and absolutely roasted. The amount of mining time delayed here, on top of the actual outright damage. 12, 13 drones. And I think Blue Flame, oh my god, did he do that on purpose? I'm gonna give him credit for doing that on purpose. He did not attack with the Hellion, because Blue Flame, now, it might just have been he was trying to right-click, but Blue Flame finished before that last Hellion attacked. So he didn't give away that he has Blue Flame Hellions. Because running with 4 Hellions, alright, people have done that 1 out of 4 days a week. Like, you wake up on the wrong side of bed, you run in with the Hellions. Right? You stub your toe on the bathroom door, you run in with the Hellions. You realize that you need some more toothpaste. You gotta roll up the toothpaste too much. And now, like, and then, like, too much of it comes out at the end, and now you're like, and you just don't want to deal with it. You run in with the Hellions. So, and then, if you're feeling extra spicy, completely unrelated, why do people not do this? TY, you know what? I've jumped right back into my fanboy lederhosen. Lederhosen? Pantyhosen? That's definitely wrong. Both of those are wrong. Moving on. Check out my Dronely fans. TY is using Barracks Lords. Barracks move faster than Overlords, obviously have more HP, and he's going Mech, so he went Threepers into Mech. Though he still has plenty of Marines to buffer early. And I don't think DRG knows about it yet. That Banshee's on the way, there's too many tanks. An Infestation Pit is actually quite a, that's a quick one for DRG. Rushing into Hive. And, well, he's got 10k, or 10k, 1000. No, it's called 1,000. What? Okay, wait. He's like, no, never rushing Hive Tech. Have you met me? Actually, I have, DRG, but, he's going Nidus Swarm Host. Does he realize? He has to realize by now it's Mech. Having a bunch of siege tanks isn't necessarily a tell, but 14 Swarm Hosts. But TY is already going Hyper Shees. He's already got Speed Banshees in production. One, who does that? It isn't an uncommon strategy, but going Hellion Banshee to this magnitude, he hasn't built a Cyclone. There's a non-zero chance that TY didn't even read the patch notes for all the Cyclone changes. Because why bother? Right, that's actually kind of crazy, because this sort of style, you're supposed to have Cyclones. He keeps scanning the main. DRG is notorious for delaying his Hive. Where did that Hellion drop go? Literally tried to fly off the map, alright? But the Swarm Host Nidus pops out. And here we go. The first wave coming through. There should be enough Hellions. Already +1 is done. Hellbat's on the way. He's gonna drop the Locust down on top. Sir Richard and his merry band of Swarm Host brethren will be throwing their spawn at whatever they can get. Another Nidus to the north. But the things DRG will do besides build a Hive. What the Hellion drops? Better late than never. In fact, it's almost always better late, because the Roaches are completely out of position. Get in the Nidus! Get in the Nidus! What is with me today? I don't... TY does things to me, okay? Makes me feel dumb and smart at the same time. It's like watching someone who's really good at an instrument and getting depressed because you know you never will be. Or are unwilling to put in a fraction of the work that's required to even get started. But here come the Swarm Hosts on the way. Lays down a wave of Locusts on top of the Hellions. He's gonna lose some of the SCVs. Brenda! Why are we here? Hey, we needed some anti-air. Why don't we just build a spire? Shut up, Susan. Shut up. Hive is on the way. TY down to 150 supply. The Locust Wave's only really working through the Hellions, but now Ravagers will be able to knock out another tank. Another set of Swarm Hosts to the south. The Sensor Tower is going to scout it one way or another. Yeah, he knew where it was. Get back. Hellions coming down. That's a single Swarm Host of Locust. Why is this happening? The SCVs are showering in the creep from the Overlord, which I'm not here to judge, but that's company time. Now, Speed Banshees are some of the best responses to both Roach Ravager and Swarm Hosts. How many Banshees on the field? Only 2 of them. He's lost 1. The Ravagers shoot at the Queens in a bit of a domestic dispute there. That's a lot of siege tanks. There's no Vipers here. A wave of Locusts is coming through, but the Roach Ravager will be mostly taken out by the time the Locusts drop down. And he saves the tanks with the medevac there, drops it out. And while the supply remains high, DRG does not have a single Viper. He finished a hive, but he's only just finishing 2-2. He maxed out again. He held down the roach key to 200 supply, and now he has no free supply for Vipers. And that is problematic. But TY still is not maxed out. He's just now getting a 4th base. He's actually really been struggling for a 4th base here. All the ideas are good in theory, but when he meets this magnitude of Zerg, he's struggling to convert it into practice. And here come the roaches again. The Locust dropping down on the back line. Banshee's looking for an opportunity. Thor is dead. Tanks thinned out. Locust on the high ground still going to work. And DRG gets better down to 160 supply. But he refills. What did you expect? It's a bunch more roaches. But the Banshees are chasing things down. He doesn't have Cloak and he doesn't need it. Because he doesn't have anyone to hide from. Though he is researching Cloak. So, you know, never be too careful. But the Banshees, I want to point out that TY got Banshee speed. Like, before building any I'm pretty sure he had Banshee speed for either none or one Banshee. He was anticipating the need for the Banshees either way. I think he was going to go for him either way. But, or maybe he just knows DRG that well. The barracks is burning. Is that the only one? There's another one out there somewhere. He knows where the army is. The queens are the only out. What is this Ravager Swarm Host army? That's madness. 18 Ravagers. 11 Swarm Hosts. Or is it the other way around? No. 18 Ravagers. Locusts drop down, but Hellbats incinerate them immediately. The Banshees easily micro-buy on top of the Ravagers. And DRG's army is... well, he's working his way through, but the queens are not enough. They don't have transfuse off a creep. All they have is joint pain. And really struggling to make good on this. The main base orbital. And now chasing down the queens. He cloaks that last Banshee despite the fact there is detection overhead. But, I mean, there's still 6 Banshees. The Swarm Host on the run. Viper is begrudgingly produced here. Throws up the Corrosive Bile and mostly just hits his own units. Surprised he didn't pop into the Nidus there. SCVs. I'm not sure what's up with this. The same 2 brothers who were bathing in the creep up north. Another wave of locusts is dropping down. And this battle mech style. Not a single Cyclone, not a single Widowmine, not a single Liberator. And also notably no Ghosts. But with no Vipers, or really late game Zerg on the field, you can certainly get away with it. And the Banshee hit squad, screaming across the map. And now TY is out for a vengeance, with a vengeance. You know what? Why not both? Banshee's going to work. Hydra count, 17 Hydras. They're just not consolidated where he needs them to be. Tanks will siege. 2 Vipers on the field. Those tanks in a bit of a precarious position. I don't think he's seen the Vipers yet. Vipers nearly full energy towards the main base. Thor's out in front. Cloaks the Banshees. The Banshees will spot the Vipers, I think. He can use Parasitic Bomb. Blinding Cloud is not enough there. Quarantines 1 Banshee. The Viper's still going to work. Trying to get... oh, actually ends up losing several Banshees to the Hydras. Trying to recharge energy here. But if the tanks get within range, where are the Swarm Hosts during all this? On the back line, trying to thin this out. Blinding Cloud looks good. Takes out the hatchery. But Blinding Cloud on the tanks means that TY's army is incredibly vulnerable to this amount of Roach Hydra. And TY trying to chase down the Swarm Hosts here. Doesn't have that much back at home. His army is 3 tanks, 2 Thors, 5 Banshees. Kiting back with the Banshees, but there's still plenty of Zerg out here. Still getting a lot of damage done. Down goes another one. If the Vipers have energy, it could be problematic. There are no Vipers really nearby. Still the Swarm Host finding a surprising amount of success during this. But the Vipers have recharged. This is just an orbital here, no planetary. And the Roach Hydra has 3-3 done, so DRG with the all more stuff countering less stuff composition, may have broken through. TY, for all his fancy mech, pales in comparison to the sheer amount of Zerg that DRG is willing to throw at the... Oh my god, he loses so much. But TY loses 41 SCVs, as well as his entire army. And at the end of the day... Yeah, those are GG scans. Still a Banshee working. Like, GG just couldn't get enough going there as DRG holds the line, willing to throw away army after army. The swarm hosts were successful, as excited and other things I was for that mech army. It just wasn't enough. He just didn't have the well, really, Liberator's Ghosts. There's a reason these more modern counterparts... Essentially, TY is playing Brood War in StarCraft 2. DRG is playing Heart of the Swarm, but, like, as we both kind of work around each other. He's like, how about siege tanks and vultures? And the Thors are just, like, big Goliaths. And the Banshees, I guess, are Wraiths, or... Where's my science? Okay, it breaks down a little, but TY has an interesting strategy for Game 2. And that, well, if you guess that strategy was put 2 barracks out in the middle of the map. You were right. Good guess. All right. Overlord should scout it, but... Well, it's far enough out. Looks like it's slightly out of the Overlord pathing. And the problem is, he's already decided on his spawning pool timing. In order to defend one of these, well, the timing of... That SCV, he saw it. Okay, so the SCV did not see the Overlord. The Overlord has more vision range. He knows. That was a conspicuous SCV. Well, now he knows for sure. Does he go for the Overlord? No. The drones are pulled. And here we go. We'll see how this is just 2 racks, which means drones are a viable response. 3 racks, and there's probably just too many Marines. But, at the same time, if he wastes too much time in dealing with it, then, well, he's gonna go for the first SCV. Drones will be targeted. Kind of a slow-moving bunker rush. He was pretty far out. The drone's trying to get the wraparound. Kills another one. Just working his way through. A couple of the Lings working on the bunker. Kills a 4th drone here. And every single one matters. Kiting back. Gonna lose 1 Marine. Forces a few more Lings out. DRG down to, well, 16 workers. Builds a couple more. Ended up losing 4, and the Marines, well, he ends up producing 5, or 5 left over. And again, 2 barracks in the air. DRG does have gas, but he did pull off a gas early in order to make sure he would have enough for this. Command center walling off on the high ground. The Marines trying to run. The barracks, I think he may have just box selected. But, oh, good micro from TY. And actually gets away with 3 Marines with almost a full Marine HP between them. Gets all of those Zerglings. Not going to be able to do much with it. I think he's going to force the issue here by going for the Overlord. With a crit... Get off my lawn! I thought the Marines, the Queen! The Queen is going for the Marines, but the Marines are trying to outmaneuver. Gets the SCV. And DRG. Now come home! Bartholomew. You know I don't like it when you call me that. Well, I didn't ask. So I did. TY gonna follow it up with a Hellion drop. it looks like. So, similar strategy in practice to the previous game, though the road we've taken to get here is significantly different. Queen's finally working on the creep. An odd start as both economies are significantly hamstrung by the early aggression and dealing with the early aggression. But this time around, TY reaching for the stim pack. I'm not one to judge. Hellions headed towards the main. And, well, there's only one queen here. He didn't actually see 3 drones. A couple more pop out. Trying to keep them from lining up here as DRG, but 8 and 2 Hellions get out. He can drop down potentially. Well, there's nowhere to go, sir. 8 drones down, but he gets out with the medevac. The 2 Hellions are nice, but the medevac is the important part here. Okay. Slurps him back up. Armory on the way. Looks like TY wants to put together a Hellbat push alongside this. Actually, well, the armory is so cheap now. At 150.50. Honestly, no reason. I do feel like a lot of the more... So he built the reactor, and then decided he wanted to do a Hellbat push, and went back to his reactor. We've all been there, all right? Ex-reactor, current reactor, your old flame, if the Hellions would. He did get 2 more medevacs. Some interesting public transport here happening throughout TY's base. Double drop. Unloading the Marines. Gonna work on the creep. He does have stim done. +1 is closing in. Roaches and Zerglings. But here come the Hellbats. Chasing down the Queens. Target's down 1. Gets a second. The Hellbats can help out a lot here. Oh, this is devastating. Oh my. Wait, what does he have? There's only 4 Roaches. And he's going to get in between the bases here, making it that much harder. +1 attack is done. Marines doing a lot more damage to the Queens here. The Hellbats are boxing out everything underneath. The Marines just stimming by. The medevac still healing. Another medevac drop comes through. And TY just carves into the Zerg base. And burns it out. Alright. My name's TY. I'm from Korea, and I say kill them all. Wow. The Hellions just roasted. This is disastrous for TY. He may hold it, but at what cost? 17 drones. The medevacs out of energy will go look for more payload. DRG. There's Hellions in the main. Again. The Queens are all dead. It doesn't get any easier from here. He's got 1-1 and roach speed on the way, but TY now has the worker lead. He didn't have a 3rd command center, but at this stage, I don't think he really needs it. Takes down another roach. Actually fighting the roaches, decides there's a few too many. DRG's supply is still okay. Hellbat drop. The Hellbat's being healed by the medevac. in much the way they can't in Hellion mode. Don't ask how that works, but TY just going for +2 weapons. DRG is not dead, which is a prerequisite to living, but he's not too far off either. 45 drones. He does still have 3 bases. The saving grace, I think, is the upgrades. And the fact that TY didn't go for a quick 3rd CC, instead focusing on aggression. Which means there's a chance to recover here. But TY has all this infrastructure. He has... Well, he's going on 5 racks. Double engineering bay. Armory clearly done. And he's got plenty of workers. Being about even on workers and supply with roaches against essentially anything but only mass marine is, and even mass marine, it really depends on the upgrades. There's really no composition that having an even supply of roaches is good against, besides maybe other roaches. Scans. Just targeting down. Are those siege tanks walled off, or does he just have them all tucked in all cozy like? That siege tank looks very cozy. Let's siege it up for me, TY. Nope. Oh, well. Disappointing. So DRG has snuck back up to 60 workers, though TY will take offense to that. Gonna continue to work on cutting that number down to size. A second factory on the way. Gonna go for the heavy tank composition despite the more bio-focused opener, which makes sense against the mass roaches especially. DRG working on 2-2. Medevacs now headed home. Liberator looking for an opportunity. And +3 infantry weapons and +1 armor on the way, which is an odd split. But clearly a focus on doing the damage rather than tanking it. As honestly against Roach Ravager, armor upgrades aren't a huge deal as it doesn't change the amount of attacks to kill a marine, really. Very much so. Helps a little with the healing. But here comes the Roach Ravager, 2-2 done. DRG finding possibly the best timing he could. He's coming around the corner. That's 4 siege tanks. That's a bunker. Those are supply depots. This is a disaster for DRG. He agrees. GG. TY ties it up. After the measured early aggression, keeping the pressure on, TY strikes back. Another close game. But this time, TY gets the better end of things. Beautifully done. I don't know. I'm a big TY fan. In fact, TY, probably my favorite Terran player throughout much of Legacy of the Void. He had his military service, and then he kind of came back, didn't find a ton of success initially, but he's kind of going back and forth between focusing on Brood War and SC2, and one of the, I mean, he's the chess master, all right? If anybody can think about both simultaneously. Well, we go into the decider. All right. 1-1 DRG versus DY 2024. Like and subscribe. Here we go. So, I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to acknowledge but not apologize for my clear bias for TY. I've always thought that he understands and plays the game. Like, in this case, I think it's partially just since he's charting his own course, kind of, and he's playing 2 games at once. 2 of the hardest games in the entire world. All right. Though, I'm sure you'll get some strong opinions as to which one is more difficult. And yes, for your risks, probably Brood War. But when it comes to keeping up on current strategies and patches, and since Brood War hasn't had a patch since before Raynor was born, I would say that overall it's a little harder to keep up with SC2, just in terms of the meta and the patches we're still getting. But at the end of the day, well, TY is able to bridge the gap at least. And he's bringing kind of a fresh style as well. I guess he's kind of, it's how style is cyclical, all right? I'm still thinking about getting frosted tips. Okay, if we get 5,000 likes on this video, I still won't do it. But maybe I'll put like an AI-generated photo or something, and that'll count. But yeah. And the same goes in many ways for StarCraft 2 styles. Like, the roach all-ins and the roach pressures are back in style. Because I think, well, one, because of the new map pool, and how you let Terran go too long, and you're gonna have a bad time. And also, after a while of not getting punched in the face, Terrans will get so greedy with like 3 CC and no starport that nature has to reassert itself, and we got to do some more roach all-ins. It does seem to every, like almost quarterly, it waxes and wanes the amount or the focus on those early all-ins. But yeah, Banshees are back in style, as we see here. TY starting off with a pretty standard Banshee opener. Hellion Banshee 3. Wait, no. There's no third command center. This is the safest version, where you actually get all your tech and your units before splurging on a third command center, which means you're not going to have the explosive economic boom, but it's hard to have that when you die to roaches, so that's the benefit of getting the Banshees as quickly as possible. And at the same time, like, we're seeing some of the old names. So, for those who don't know, now this is not as fun, but StarCraft 2 is just not very popular in Korea. Brood War is still an order of magnitude more popular. It's kind of like, from what I understand, Brood War, for at least a time in the last year, 2 years ago, was actually more popular than League of Legends on Afrika TV, which is the Association of Free Broadcasters. I know it's a bit of a confusing name. It's essentially Korean Twitch, especially since the disputes with Korea and Twitch overall. So, but Brood War is still one of the most played games in Korea, and one of the most popular to watch. StarCraft 2, but I'm glad you enjoy. StarCraft Brood War in Korea is like lightning in a bottle. A flash in the pan, if you would. Well, still simmering, but still incredibly popular, but still very cool to see some of the best players playing. But that is why we don't see too many new players, as when players like TY are still able to get so much damage done with their Banshees, and DRG is still a competitive Zerg. It is a very tough and unrewarding market to break into. So it's a bit disappointing to not really see any new players. Maybe with some of the newer RTS coming out, we'll see some. I think it's going to be very hard for anything to really touch the popularity of Brood War, but in Korea specifically, not outside. But I'm not sure. So I do very much enjoy TY and DRG, like two of my favorite players from when I was just a wannabe fanboy. But the other side of it is they're still in the top 32 or so in Korea, which is a bit concerning as well. But at the end of the day, if there's still more good games for the fans, isn't that all that matters? That's most of it, in my opinion. So, DRG inspired Mutas could be the choice. Marine tank push on the way out. The double Banshee. What is with the Battle Brothers here? Looking for some creep to slather around in. Moving on. And the Spire coming up. Mutaling Bane. And no upgrades here. Key point. Usually the main weakness of Mutas is having kind of a weak ground army when you try to get them initially. And right here, well, the Zerglings are able to take out the tanks just barely. And the Hellions as well. Now there are 8 Mutas on the way. DRG. Well, that was about as good of a defense as you could ask for. And TY doesn't seem to have any idea the Mutas are coming. And 9 Mutas on the way. All right. And, oh no, the Queen's Brenda! Where are you go? Oh, they didn't see him coming. DRG actually cleans up the drops with the mutas, though. The hatchery goes down. DRG's already expanded to his alternative base here. The muta's looking to intercept. There's no Metamax with this. So, while he's gonna lose a couple, the Marines are already softened up. The Banshees are helpful. Overseer a little late here in helping out, but the Banshees will be taken out themselves. And TY, well, he's got plenty of production. He's got the worker count. But DRG did take the 4th base on the opposite side quickly enough that he still has production. And that's the most important thing with going Mutiling Baneling, is having enough larvae. Alright, if you can't put enough units on the field, it doesn't matter. So the Muta count and the Ling Bane count need to stay high enough to keep TY from being able to grind through. Zoning turrets in production. +2 on the way. Just now 1-1 for DRG, who's really focusing. And I might point out, TY hasn't built a single Widow Mine in this series. He knows they exist. Alright, it's not like he's been gone since 2014. It's TY was playing at the top of GSL, I believe, 2019? So, which is still quite a while ago. But, Widow Mines, slight nerf in the previous patch, but still a very solid counter. But Marine Tank is... We're playing Mutiling Bane versus Marine Tank. The good old days. This comes down to upgrades. DRG needs to have 1-1 done, or he needs to make this counterattack work, but the Marine! Oh no! He couldn't close the door in time. Is that actually gonna work out for him, though? As the Marines, well, the Muta count isn't high enough. He's kind of fighting back, but nope, the upgrades are there. 2-2 versus just +1 attack mutas. And chasing down. More Ling Bane coming in. The Muta's overrunning the Marines on the field. The Muta count up to 11. He's actually been cut down a lot. The Marines are coming back. He's given up on the tank push and is just going to try to defend his base, but the Banelings are getting damn close to the SCVs. And, well, he's chasing it down. Forced to cancel his command center. More Banelings into the natural. It's an absolute disaster for TY. He's going to lose a whole lot of SCVs. The Mutas are still intact. Taking out more turrets. The flock, the murder of mutas here, and TY unable to recover quickly enough to get back on his feet and put together the Marine tank push. And now DRG's just going to go back home and refill. This is exactly what DRG wants to be doing. This is what DRG is known for. 600 APM of as many Zerg units as possible. The mutas to cut out key parts of the army composition, and the Ling Bane to overrun everything else. And here he comes in for another round, splitting back. The upgrades might be good, but the unit count is just not enough. And DRG claims 2 more Gs for his own. He takes it home in a solid, beautiful execution of TY this time around. I think TY had some great ideas, but clearly DRG a bit more experienced at the moment. So TY, well, I think he's still got a good chance of finding success. But wow, what a nostalgic match. Not just because of the players. I think they both played quite competently, but DRG versus TY going Mutiling Bane. Well, we do have a bonus match, by the way. So this series, well, this game as well, is not long enough to do a video usually independently. Because on YouTube, if you put out a 15-minute video when most of your videos are an hour long, then YouTube will tell you, guess what? People aren't watching this video as long. It's like, well, the video's shorter than the amount of time people usually watch. It's like, still. So, Bunny versus Rainer. I don't know what this is not a long game. Now, you can probably spoil yourself here. I just wanted... I also like having an anti-spoiler, even on those series. So, it's not just going to be on... I haven't been doing as many anti-spoiler games. We've just had a lot of good games. And let me know whether it's a good idea or not, or if you just turned off the video and didn't notice anyways. In which case, you wouldn't be letting me know, but I digress. But I think if you only put anti-spoiler games on matches that end 2-0, that's kind of a spoiler in and of itself. No, I haven't thought too hard about it. Raynor goes pool first. Oh yeah, Raynor participated in the GSL qualifiers, which is when all these matches are from. Though, playing against Bunny here, who, another... Honestly, I'd probably put him on TY's level. Like, he has great ideas, but sometimes the execution is lacking. He's come up with some very creative pushes in the past that have looked super OP until someone scouted them. And then, oh, wait a second, but he's always been one of those Terrans, like, scratching at the door of the top tier, but not quite able to bash his way into it. So, 6 Zerglings. Will we be able to cancel the base? Reactor's on the way. Reaper's on the wrong side of history. He didn't SCV scout, so Raynor gonna be able to kill the Marine. Gonna delay the command center as long as possible. SCVs are pulled. Marine goes down. Reaper's on its way back home. He's actually just gonna fight here. Gets 1. Gets 2. Gets 3. Gets... What? This is an absolute disaster. I don't know what I expected, but killing... Oh, there's Zerglings in the main, too. Oh, my God. 6 SCVs for 6 Zerg. He's not even done. The amount of money... Oh, my God. Well, that is a barely mitigated disaster. So, Bunny didn't scout until the Reaper. And Raynor took offense to that, in every literal sense of the term. Exploiting that lack of scouting to great effect. Of course, he had to commit. It's a bit of a gamble. But Raynor has kind of turned the tables lately. If you watch the match, all the trailer-length version of the match versus Dark, he's been... a lot of Korean players, especially Dark, are notorious for cheesing foreigners, especially in GSL. But Raynor seems to be undercutting those same Koreans and exploiting the weaknesses, especially the greed some players will show. And in this case, I was talking about the kind of cyclical nature of Terran versus Zerg, and the scouting, and how greedy, especially Terrans, can be. I think this is an example of Zerg reasserting itself. Like, you just SCV scout. Alright? Just SCV scout, like, even when the barracks finishes, so that way you know whether or not he went pull first. You can tell by the hatch timing. But if you literally don't SCV scout, and you wait till the Reaper goes all the way across the map just to get, like, 60 more minerals from that, what that SCV could be mining. Well, believe it or not, losing 6 SCVs does cost more than a bit of mining time on one of them while scouting. Pro tip. Well, we'll see. Bunny is doing a Hellbat Marauder, a knee breaker all in here to try to recover. The Zerglings in position. He's already got 5 roaches on the way. Raynor definitely not getting too greedy with it. The Zerglings looking for a surround. If he's able to just grab the Hellions before the Hellbats are done, oh no. Well, he's just fighting him. Splitting the Zerglings, trying to anticipate that early pressure. There's still plenty of roaches. He's got a forward spore here, which I think was just dodging the potential damage into a spore crawler, but... Well, that's a lot of Hellions. How many roaches? 6 roaches, 6 queens. Brenda! We fight, and they die! Okay, Terran, just chill. Well, the queens... tanking most of the damage. Just a great spread. I can't believe it's not butter. Here from Raynor. And Bunny just types it out. Alright, well, that is not as dramatic as I initially thought. But honestly, the majority, not the majority, but a whole heap and help in the games. No, don't just say heaping help. Just move on. Well, many games do end up looking like that, and they don't always make it to the center stage here, but I hope they provide some perspective on what some of the rest of the games look like as well. But TY versus DRG, an epic old school back and forth. Raynor with a quick bop on Bunny there, putting him back in his burrow. And, well, hopefully all of this made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 1,300, I'm optimistic, likes and subscribes. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Hope to see you next time. Check out the second channel and all that in the description. You know the spiel. Good luck, have fun. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.